Hello. Hello, everyone. The attendees are joining. So thanks for coming. We will be waiting maybe 2 minutes. So just to let the ones that maybe come a little bit late. So in 2 minutes, we will be starting with the webinar. So for the newcomers, just remembering, in 2 minutes we will be starting. So just 2 more minutes. Thanks for your passion. Okay, I can see a lot of people on time. That's good. 1 more minute and we will start. Okay, I think we can start. Good morning. My name is Domenico Di Siena, and I have the pleasure and the privilege to welcome you to the new session of Fab City Hub Voices program. Let me say a few words to explain what is about and what is the focus of all of these sessions. Fab City Hub Voices is a series of webinars to learn about the challenges involved in activating productive and creative hubs, but also to understand all the opportunities they open up for the local innovation ecosystem. I guess you know how this is interesting, but also not so easy to achieve. So after getting to know some of the references in Europe, we continue with new sessions with which we aim to improve understanding of what a Fab City Hub is. And this second round, let's say, because this is not the first one, is intended to bring to all of you, the attendees, the experiences from others protagonists that are opening these kind of spaces in Europe. So the approach will be really go deeper on understanding which are the challenges, the difficulties, the hope, and how the team behind those Fab City hubs that are opening in Europe are facing. So what is the context and the prevision for the future? So this initiative is part of the European project Centrino, in which we are supporting the creation of 9 Fab City hubs. And before I go on, I would like to introduce you who is with us today from the Paris pilot on the Centrino consortium. Is with us Vincent Guimas, who is representing the Paris pilot. Hello, Vincent.
Hello, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here with you. Thanks for the invitation.
So thanks, Vincent, for your time. Vincent is an urban designer and maker specializing in manufacturing environment, director of the design agency Ars Longa, and is also a teacher at the Alliance ARTEM campus in Nancy, at the crossroads of technology at Ecole Design and Creation, Ecole Nationale de Design and Management, ICN Business School. So I can see that you, Vincent, love teaching, so it's really good. His expertise links the subject of urban transformation, local remanufacturing, microfactories, and factories 4.0 in strong dialectic with the challenges of ecological transition. I think you will tell a lot about this in a while. He is co-founder of the Fab City Grand Paris network and representative of the International Fab City Global Initiative. So before we go ahead, I have also to remember you that I am here with Carlotta Fontana, who is project manager for volumes at Centrino. And Carlotta has been researching the historical evolution of hubs, among other activities in this project. And Carlotta will be also moderating the following questions time. So also hearing from you on the chat. Hello, Carlotta, how are you?
Hello, Domenico. Hello, Vincent. Hello to everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to thank all the people that participate. Some technical question. I will be, as Domenico said, taking care of your questions. And I have a couple of questions that are prepared, so don't hesitate to put your question along the presentation of Vincent. Even the most simple question for us is important, because from a research perspective, maybe we give some things for granted, but we are happy to answer to your curiosity and question. And see you later.
That's really important. So we really design this session in order to be useful for you all. So really don't hesitate to share your comments and questions. So before this question time, so it's the moment. So let's listen Vincent, so a 20-minute presentation, and then we will go through the questions. So Vincent, the stage is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm gonna share my screen and tell me if it's okay for you. Is it good for you? Not?
No.
No. Just one moment, please.
Now, okay.
Just one moment, please. I'm trying to.
I maybe take some minutes while you're looking for this, just to remember that I just realized that I didn't say at the beginning. So as I said, I'm part of the volume team with Carlotta, and we are promoting this kind of sessions in order to also learn from all the pilots that are now developing through the Centrino Consortium. So basically, just to remember you that in the following month, we will have other sessions with others projects. So still not working, Vincent. It's still dark. We did the test right before the session was working, and now disappeared the problem.
Okay, what's the problem?
I also take the opportunity to ask people maybe to introduce yourself so we can see while Vincent is solving technical problem, who are the attendees. I have Carolina from Geneva. She's part of the Geneva pilot in the Centrino. So she's one of the 9 pilot cities that will be soon a guest on this Fab City App Voices, and we are curious to know about the others also.
Is it good for you?
Yeah, really good.
Wow. Okay, perfect. Sorry for this little technical issues. So thanks, Carlotta and Domenico, for the invitation. As you said, I'm Vincent Guimas, director of Ars Longa, a design agency in Paris, and I'm also one of the co-founder of Fab City Grand Paris Association. I would like to take advantage of this Fab City voice to share my fraternal thoughts with you. As many of you, of course, I'm thinking about of Ukrainian children, women and men were still waking up free only a week ago. And maybe it's obvious, but I would like to share with you this idea that it's more necessary than ever to give meaning to our actions supported by Europe. That's all. So I'm going to start this Fab City voice with an emotional note, a little piece of our Parisian heritage. Here on the slide, you can see an image taken on July 6 in 2016 in my president workshop, Les Arts Codés. And it was the very first meeting between a dozen of Parisian makers and Thomas Diaz. And it was, of course, our first listening to the stemless Pito Dido presentation. In short, it was the time we got on the train at this moment. It gave birth of the Fab City Grand Paris Association a few months later. And in 2018, during the Fab City Summit, we were about 50 organizations to animate the future of our pledge. Since 6 years, many projects and events have followed one another. You see yes, this is the second one. So among all those activities, Fab City Grand Paris is part of the Centrino Research Action Project. So it's ICE 2020 program, European program. And just a little reminder, the Paris pilot is being developed on 2 sites in the northeast of Paris. The first one is the Jardine Traverse, you can see on the left. This project will be is managed by the Association Verger Urbain, one of the stakeholders of Paris Pilot. They're going to try to redesign the railway belt around Paris as a potential new green belt for the urban agriculture. They're going to develop the rise as a vegetable garden, experiment crops on rails, animate workshop, set up events. It is mainly at this location that the Sony Lab open source gardening robots will be tested. The opening to the public is planned start of 2023. And there is the second site, the Fab City Paris. So it is set up in a former factory labeled Remarkable Contemporary Architecture. Just for information, this is the building is part of the Brutalist movement, and it has been built by the French architect Claude Parent. So this building just have been rehabilitated by the RIVP, This is a Paris land agency. And today, the site already houses student accommodation, younger workers, hostel, artist residencies, and emergency accommodation center named l'Armée du Salut. So for this Fab City Voice, I propose you to focus only on the Fab City Hub Paris. I hope maybe we have another session for Jardine Traverse, but today it's only on Fab City Hub Paris. And just to inform you that we're going to open the site next week. So just before to enter in the building, I have to present you a very important partner for our adventure. It is Oasis 21. Thanks to a meeting 3 years ago between Volume Lab and Oasis, the idea of the Fab City Hub became possible. To know that, you have to know that Fab City Grand Paris is leading the content of the Fab City Hub Paris, and Oasis today is our partner. It runs the administrative, financial, and technical aspects of the project. So just to understand, the legal form of Oasis is a SIC. In French, it's Société Coopérative d'Intérêt Commun. In English, it could be Cooperative Company for Common Interest. And it has a particularity, and it's particularly adapted to cooperative because of its social utility vocation and to the exercise of an inclusive and participative governance. And the goal of Oasis, what has been set up, I think, 4 years ago, is to lead in Paris, in the northeast of Paris, a dynamic ecosystem of actors and projects committed to environmental and civic transition. And to set, it is the first step for them to set up 3 third places in the northeast of Paris, most precisely in the 19th district of Paris. And Fab City Hub is the last one to open its doors next week. So now we enter in the building. So Fab City Hub Paris is 1,000 square meter first place. And there is, I think, something very important to precise a technical point. We are in the basement of the building. This had, of course, consequences for the writing of the project, and maybe we're gonna talk about it. A few issues. As you can see on the sketch, spaces are designed more for services and manufacturing. We have a little fab lab, makers place at the end of the place, and we have the full lab on the left, as you can see. Our choice is based on many points. The first one is an opportunity to move into a rehabilitated space with a rent cheaper than the average in Paris. As I said, the meeting with Oasis 21, their vision and its commitments. And maybe the most important point is the fact that most of the members of our network already have their place and they are involved in the animation of their neighborhood, and they didn't want to, and we didn't want to weaken this ecosystem. The need for the pooling are training room to develop our skills and knowledge, and spaces able to receive a large public to value and promote our action, of course, and the movement. But I need to be clear, this is a bet. We'll see if we are right or wrong. So we'll see in the next years. Now I propose you a technical reading of the project by taking a few slices. So I present you the full stack Fab City Hub Paris. First layer, ecosystem. As I explained at the very beginning, an informal ecosystem of Parisian Fab City actors started between 2010 and 2015, and have been formalized with the Fab City Grand Paris Association in 2016. It has expanded to include small and medium-sized manufacturers, SMEs, for the past 3 years. So we could say that we have a quite strong ecosystem, quite strong network. But the challenges we foresee now are finding the right balance between an existing distributed network and this new centrality, the Paris Fab City Hub, involving new big partners without weakening our open, social, and inclusive approach, and of course, help manufacturers, actors to hold on in Paris, knowing many issues, as I said, the land and the rental pressure. The second slide stake is the economic model. So, as I said, we can consider Oasis 21 as the container, but it's more than a container because they have built and carry the financial package for the Fab City Hub. It means that Fab City Grand Paris is not economically responsible. It's an important point. And if I try to unfold this economic model, I could say that we have an investment budget of approximately 1.9 million euros and a priming operating fund of 0.2 million. So this is a financial package plan was going to run on 12 years. And if I talk about investments, so you have 1.4 million dedicated to co-working for the development, for co-working, makerspace, and event spaces, and 0.5 million dedicated to the food lab. Few elements to understand. We had many issues when we set up the food lab, because we had nearly 200,000 euros needs for structural reinforcement. 50% have been paid by the RIVP, but the rest have been paid by Oasis 21. This does not include the time Oasis team dedicated to the project, to this part of the problem. And I could say that the overall budget is relatively high for this kind of development. And I think the configuration of the premises pose many problems today. Actor of investment, as you can see, I don't know if you see on the sketch I put, but we have three main loan. So a specific one from the State Bank called Banque des Territoires. It's 30% of the loan. A classic bank loan, it's 23%, and private investor around 19-20%. And the only subside we receive is from the food lab, and we receive it from Paris, City Hall. Governance. Yes. So if today Fab City Grand Paris and Oasis are working on the best articulation between our respective governance, I would like to present you Oasis governance system that will technically work for the residents of the Fab City Hub. So the members are divided in 7 colleges, let's say, kind of organization, each with a different weight in the governance. But the idea of solidarity, the principle of the cooperative, is one person or one organization is one vote. And in accordance with the funding principle of the social and the solidarity economy, the aim is to involve residents in the running and regulation of the daily life, of course, and to participate to the orientation of the decision on the cooperative level, at the cooperative level, during the college meeting and during the General Assembly. Although there is now an appetite for this kind of organization, one of the difficulty in the long term is management, of course. Cooperative and consensus methods take time, and sometimes is not the best ally during growth crisis. We'll see. Services, we have 5 main services at the Fab City Hub. So the co-working, of course, events and training, food lab, makerspace, and maybe in 1 year we're gonna try to set up an incubator. You can see on the graph expected incomes per activity. Of course, co-working and events or the economic basement of the project. I see 3 main risks. Not find the good balance between our economic model and inclusion promise by organizing workshops, low rental access, move away from local residents' interests, and the last one is to disconnect Paris Fab City Hub from interest needs of the distributed Fab City Grand Paris organization, of course, because of economic duties. Impact measurement. We believe that the Fab City Hub cannot be just a place for production or co-working. So if the cooperative mode of governance is a mark of commitment that differentiates us from other co-working spaces, we must also offer Fab City actors a vision, effective reading tools to foresee and deliver on the promise of the facility, the development, and the distributed manufacturing strategy. We started with locally made tools such as reliable.eu developed by Ars Longa, or the Fab City Index solution set up by Utopie, both part of the board organization of Fab City Grand Paris. But we also benefit of the research program. We're also part of Reflow project, ICE 2020 program. So we could use also MFA by metabolic or straw method applies to our challenges. I think the Fab City Hub must become a semaphore for piloting our actions, accompanying public policies and accompanying our strategies. Communication, obviously, the challenge is to open spaces, but it's also to animate it. So all our social networks are nothing, of course, without a quality animation of the space. Our strategy is to set up a cycle of animations program linked to the themes on actions at the moment. Among the animations tested, we did a Fab City Camp, a format, quite interesting formula. It's a mix of workshops, mini conferences, live recordings, audio and video podcasts at the Fab City Hub. It could be those kind of proposition. Today, the programmation and the animation is not setting up yet, but bimensual Fab City Grand Paris board meeting will start soonly, and the Fab City Camp events is in preparation. If you want, we could share you a few elements of this kind of animation we could do next month in the Fab City Grand Paris, Fab City Hub Grand Paris, Fab City Hub Paris, sorry. Just to conclude, if I have to sum up the project, yes, it is to inscribe our ambition in the long term by choosing a land that is not precarious or therefore a little bit more expensive. We have moved from an urban transitory system to an agency of transitions. It is get out of this perpetual tactic of short-term activities, precarious leases, to build a strategy on the long-term activities and to participate fully in the challenge of transition in the city. We must welcome committed actors in the Fab City Hub places to support them thanks to our ability to read the issues, opportunities and risks on the territories we are leading. That's all for me. I try to be very quick for this presentation, and I think the best thing is to have to exchange with questions, and I will try to answer as my best. It's all for me.
Thanks, Vincent. Thanks a lot. So I was sharing also in the chat that is quite evident that this pilot in Paris is bringing a lot of interesting thoughts on about, for instance, the funding, about the business model, about the governance. It's not a simple project that come out with you know, a linear approach. In my understanding, is even if this is you know quite complicated with a lot of stakeholders. In any case, this kind of project a lot of time come out thanks to those ecosystems, those connections between several actors. Of course, thanks to the passion of some people that push it. But I'm just saying that it's interesting to share it like it is, because it's a way to learn. And I think in the other pilots, there'll be maybe a similar situation with several stakeholders, for instance, connection between public and private, at the intersection with civil organization like Fab City Grand Paris, which is interesting. No, as you said, the organization is not in charge of the business model. So this is interesting. So I just did a recap just to highlight this. I think the conversation could be really interesting. And then Carlota, if you want, you can go ahead with some questions.
Yes, thanks Domenico, and thanks Vincent for this very interesting presentation. I have prepared some questions. Some of them you already touched upon in your presentation. Like, for example, I was very curious how the Paris pilot and in this Fab City Hub, we will be able to attract, but at the same time connect different actors. And I think you answer partly with a strategy of communication, with a series of curatorial events that could gather these communities in this place, activate the place and make evident the opportunities that are among other actors. So maybe I will skip this first question that you already respond, but if someone in the chat wants to know more in details, etc., free to ask. And I would like to focus on another aspect that I think is very specific of Paris, is the relation with the municipality and the institution that are at my since 2018, during the Fab City Summit, the municipality engaged in this project. And I think it's interesting to share with other cities or other people that are interested to set up this kind of place, how you built this relation with the municipality and also with the other institution, because I know that, for example, you work with in a training session that are endorsed by or in collaboration with the Pôle Emploi, etc. So my question is if you can tell us the challenge and the opportunities to work with the institution, and also the difficulties to maintain this relation active in the long term, because the municipality maybe is there, but is not always active. So you have to activate and strengthen this collaboration.
Yes, of course. This story, I think the story of Fab City in Paris is strongly linked with our relation with a few departments in Paris, and more especially with a man now is no more in Paris. It is Jean-Louis Sica, who was the number 2 of the organigram in Paris Paris City Hall, and very, very soonly he see in the Fab City movement a trend for Paris to develop a model. So we have this chance to very soonly to have their support, and during the first, I think from 2017 to yes, maybe 2 years ago, we have this very strong relation with Paris. We still have it, but it's not the same thing, because it's very funny, you know. Anne Hidalgo is still the mayor of Paris, but teams have changed, and today we feel that maybe it's no more a crucial goal for them. They are very aware about what we are doing, but we feel a little different. So you talk about the first. If we talk about this project of Fab City Hub, I think the first big relation starts with Volume Lab, and as you know, Volume Lab set up a long time ago this new place, Volume Paris, which is for me and for many people in Paris really a kind of lighthouse, because it's really this idea of not only a working space, but a fab lab, a food lab, and all in a very small place. And so I think this the idea of the Fab City Hub was to have this new experience of volume place with a bigger place, with a bigger promise. And so Paris City Hall decided to have a strong relation with Volume Lab than with Fab City Grand Paris to develop this project. And you talk about, and I could say that it's the other chance is to have met Oasis 21, this cooperative, because they were able to set up the financial project. I think it's a very important partner, stakeholder in the project. And you talk about the other program called Paris Fabrique, because we have a catalog of training program who started with this grant we received of Paris Fabrique. Yes, I don't know if it was your question, but it's an important part of our relation now with the town, because they bet like we bet on the new skills, the new skills, new jobs we will need in the next decade.
Vincent, if I can recap, so this is really interesting, because I think could be the situation also in other places, how actually you deal with the, public administration, and how not the government changes sometimes could, even if the endorsement is there, maybe you could not feel the same way. No, this is interesting. And also what is important is how basically maybe in the same public administration you can go to different programs in order to, for instance, to get funding. No, you were mentioning, for instance, food lab. So this is interesting because there are different basically programs that someone have to put together. No, so when you have, of course, a strong endorsement.
Yes, of course.
So in Paris, of course, the summit, the Fab City Summit was really important to push, and at that moment the city council was there, pushing. So it's interesting now also just to sum up, also this relationship related with the place that is by the public institution, but of course is available because there will be a a call that needed a proposal and etc. So a long a long path before that could be open. And I guess also Carlotta was referring about basically also how deal with all the the measure, the legalities, all the rules you have to respect in order to activate this kind of space that sometimes we know, to be honest, sometimes it's difficult because being exactly with all the rules you have, and in this case, in my knowledge, also in Paris, was one of the reason for the delay of the delivery of the.
Yeah. To be clear, it was nightmare not for us but for Oasis 21. Really, there are, wow. When I see all the mess, all the issues they had. I'm not talking about COVID period, but technical issues, and sometime I could say issues we had with RIVP because there was sometimes not. It was not all the time really easy to work with them.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's not different from many other projects. Yes, it was very funny to see that the new administration come, even if we have the same mayor, we see new faces, we see just one event very funny. As I told you, we are part of a reflow project, and the new administration decided to say, "Oh yes, it's very exciting project, blah 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 blah." But we are not going, because on the reflow project, they are partners of reflow project. They decided to refund, to give back the money to us, to say we don't want to. We have no more time. We don't have the expertise to work with you. It was totally crazy. And so they get the money back. It was something like 200,000 euros. But so it's strange because at the same time we are in a good relation with them. We discuss with them, but we feel. I think it's there's two things. A new, not a new administration, but it's new faces. So this is a question of goals, and maybe goals today of the department we are working with. It's mainly the attractive department for Paris, something like this. We see that it's not exactly the same goals as a few years ago.
Thanks. I have some other questions. I wanted to go back to the idea that you mentioned that the Fab City Hubs is going to open actually
next week open. Or
it will be open soon and active, but without a fully active and very big Fab Lab. And this is important to underline because I think that it's important to clarify that Fab City Hubs doesn't want to replace factory and became places of fully production of things in the city, but are more considered as laboratories for idea, for rethinking a new ways of producing, with connecting different actors all together. And so I was wondering, beside the cultural program, the events program that are imagined for the place, What other activities are imagined in this place in order to rethink together the way we produce in the city? I know that there are some training program that are thought to be happening in this place. Also, I know that the focus is not necessarily on the Jardine Traverse, but I know that in the backside you are working a lot with the food producer in the city, with other projects within the Centrino. So can you tell us a little bit how this new idea of production will be framed?
Wow.
and also how you start without machines.
Yeah.
But because we are a distributed network, that's why I try to explain in my presentation that this is a bet. I told you, of course, how to think a Fab City hub without machines, without craftsmen, without tools. This is the bet we are doing now with the Fab City hub. We are going to have a few tools with the makerspace. We are going to have the food lab, of course. But yes, we decided because I tried to tell you that we have we already have a network, not strong, but we have a network in the east of Paris, and all the actors are in their place, have relation with the neighborhood. So the idea was, what could be this place for Paris? And it's not the same for all the town, of course. What could be useful for this ecosystem if we set up this Paris Fab City hub? And so the choice was to say, maybe we need a place to focus on training, a place where we are able to share together times, events, public events. So it's more a place where you can find support skills for our movement than big machines, CNC or whatever. And technically, it was not possible with this place. Maybe at the first point. And as I said, it is a bet. We will see if we can maintain this balance between the network, actors, SMEs, manufacturers, and this place. And I could say that it's not a new organ in our ecosystem that will activate the project. We will have to make a nice transplant of this new organ in this ecosystem by organizing, programming events, and as I said at the end, is maybe to give to be a semaphore for all of them by giving information about how to work all together. So this idea of impact measurements and to be a place able to offer those kind of data tools analysis is a very important point for me.
Just sorry, Carlotta, to step in. No, I think this is really important, Vincent, because somehow I would like to insist in this role that the space could have, because it's there and would be permanently there and connected with a community. So this is interesting because, of course, I guess that when any organization or a bunch of stakeholders meet to open this kind of places, a lot of time is not because there is, a huge business model behind to make money, etc. So there is, as you said, a transformation, not transition approach. So basically, you want to promote something positive for the city where you where you are, no, and articulating different stakeholders. So what is interesting here is how basically you also having a physical place, and as you said, managing events and trainings, programs, etc. Basically, you can visualize the debate and the agenda about these topics, so that in Paris could be this place where all this discussion could have you know, a concentration and, you know, a focus and visibilization is really important. So I'm saying that because a lot of time also for the new projects, that part maybe is not so much visible, and I understand you will be as organization taking care of the content, so we will be in the heart of this action.
Was a question, Domenico?
No, I mean, if you agree, it's okay. So it's just looking for confirmation.
No. The idea of a place, the idea of a physical place, it's quite interesting for the debate. We know that for 2 years, we know that now the debate is no more a place, but at the same time, I feel that it's so important to have a place, a site where we could meet each together, and I think what can I add? I would like to say that maybe the place where we are. One question you before the presentation, one question you wanted to ask me, Carlotta, was maybe if the Fab City Hub is a kind of extension of a traditional institution. I would say no. We are, and we must stay the margin of the page. We are the place where we have agility. We have ideas. We try to make we test, we iterate action, and we need a place to, as I told you, we need a place. The first thing is to be together during events, to showcase what we are doing. But maybe the main things for us, I think, for Paris, is to have to be an active and important actor of the transmission of the learning of the training, and I think it will be the two things we are going to develop to do in this place: events, showcase, and of course learning.
There is, we know that there are, you know, even projects that are not focused on places. So this is interesting. So, and it's good as well. So this is just, you know, to understand how this kind of dynamics works. So is why I was pointing out. I'm concerned because I don't see questions on the chat. The time is flying, so soon we will close. So if you have any question, please, please go ahead.
Of course, I will share, or we will share the presentation. And if you have any question concerning the Paris Fab City Hub, don't hesitate. Approach me directly or approach to Domenico or Carlotta. Maybe I would like to share another things. We are talking about concrete, new places, physical places, but I really think that the resilience of movement is first is a mindset. So and I think we could set up the number of Fab City Hub we want. The main thing is to have this new mindset in our community with people who are going to be residents or in the place. It's maybe it's obvious, but it's important to say it.
I don't know if Carlotta has more questions. Otherwise, I have some, but. I'll let you, Carlotta.
I had prepared a question about the interaction between the physical and the digital space, because we were talking about physical places, but it's also true that since Fab City hubs are also places where multiple actors and networks connect together. Of course, there is a digital part that is important and is not separate with the physical one. On the contrary, if the two of them works together, they both potentiate the possibility of them. And I don't know if you can tell a little bit the experience of Maker COVID. That for me is a very interesting experience and mobilization that has been possible because of these two combinations. And maybe people don't know very much, but for me it's a very interesting moment that happened in a crisis period. But then from there we can think about how we can make these things working, not for urgent questions such as the production of masks, but for other type of production that could be the food production, etc. I don't know if you have a couple of words on that, Vincent.
No, I could talk about it. Yes, it was a crazy and very fantastic experience we had at the start in March 2020. We decided to produce shield and mask during the first months. It was so exciting to see all those little actors, makers, space decided to have their own strategy, doing. During a period of 2 months, we produce around 30,000 shields for hospitals, for many social organizations, and we managed to have a first idea of what could be decentralized or a distributed manufacture with digital tools to manage the needs, to organize the logistic, and we managed, yes, during 2 months to activate all the tools we have. Laser cutter, principally laser cutter, but also all the community and the inhabitants around the makerspace. We did many things, like, for example, we set up a program called Home Factory. We came with kids. We give kits to people to make 100 or 200 shields to give us to make in 2 days, for example. So yes, it was a very nice experience. I don't know if we can imagine the same thing, because it was very specific with a specific product. But of course, I think it was the seed of what we are able to do together. And maybe concerning this idea of this relation between digital and physical, I will say that maybe with this COVID and maybe post-COVID period, now the reflex have changed concerning the way to work. And I would say that we need, of course, a common place, but the idea is to invent or to reinvent what could be a kind of elasticity. What is elasticity of work? And so we will try to develop to this idea in the next years in the Fab City Hub.
So just to thanks Vincent. We are really closing, so some final comments. So this part is, I think, is really interesting, because in any case, I would highlight that in Paris, I experienced a huge community that was communicating a lot in digitally, but then found different places where producing this. That's amazing. For me, it's a good example when you have a community that is focused on something and then cooperate in order to achieve some results. Is amazing. There is a really, really interesting question. Really difficult, I would say. I don't know you, Vincent, but for me it's really difficult to answer. I would do that, and then we close. So Alexandre asked how we can conciliate the management. I guess is mainly intended in the economical part, so the business model. So the management
I mentioned during the presentation.
No, I mean, in my understanding, he's talking about how you manage to deal with the place that has to pay bills and should have a business model with social inclusion with the local community. So how you deal with this? how create?
We're gonna try to do. As I said, it's a bet. We will see. We decided to have a long-term vision with the Fab City Hub, so not to be in a precarious project as many of projects we've done before. So we decided to have a long-term project. So with quite higher prices, and so yes, we cannot. It's a bet. We will see how to have income from certain kind of activities, and of course to balance what we're going to do for our inclusive project.
This to me is really interesting what you are saying, because saying that to conciliate this relationship with social inclusion, saying that for this the path is working on the stability, so working to be there also in the future. I like it a lot. So this is interesting. So we are not an experiment. We want to create something that is there.
Exactly. It was the idea of my conclusion, how to go from what we see for maybe 10 or 20 years, 10 years. They ask people like us to big real estate, lands company agency ask us to live in a place during 4 or 5 years doing our stuff. I think we have to stop this. We have to go from transitory activities to a transition, an agency of transitions. This is my idea. So how to pass from tactical approach and to a strategy for transition. So it needs to set up project in the long term, and
so basically we will be there trying to answer again these questions, no? But we will be there. That's the point. Carlotta?
Yeah, I would like to ask that social inclusion doesn't happen in events. It happens in the long term and in an engagement with a territory, with a place, with the actors that are there. So finally, it brings the importance to have a place that is anchored in a neighborhood, and from there we create relation. And maybe this place have to open to the neighborhoods and vice versa. But yeah, I think it's a nice conclusion. I think it's important to be there every day to build. It's not something that happens in one day.
With this, we can conclude. Vincent, last sentence.
No, I hope to see you soon and real. Maybe a few of you will be in Barcelona in May, and I hope to see you. We live a very strange, very peculiar period. I think, like many of you, about what's happening in Ukraine, and as I told you, I think even if it's a very small things, and we have to consider, to have in mind that we need to give meaning in our works in this European project. Really, we have to be together. Many solidarity between us and with, of course, people who are suffering.
Yes,
sorry, it's not
good.
it's not
Good sentence
point.
to close. No, I like it. So thanks to put this in mind every time. So I like it. So thanks. Carlotta, any last sentence?
No, I said my
okay.
my last...
No, you.
no,
Thanks for your
Thank
questions.
you. Thank you.
Thanks to all the attendees. See you more or less in 2 months, I guess. Hopefully earlier. We will tell you. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye bye.
Ciao, everybody. Ciao.
Is the session finished, Domenico?
Yes, but if I close, si chiudo.
Ah, ok.
Devo chiudere tutto. Se vogliamo vedere le cose mi dici dopo.
Ok, no, then.
Perché? Volevi commentare un po'?
Yeah, but
Volevi...
it's okay.
Ok.
See you in the next days. Ciao.
Ok, ciao.
Ciao.